Hi guys, Ian Johnson from DriveSuccess.com. Today I thought we'd talk about the importance of improving your sales forecast accuracy. I've covered this before in other videos about Pert, Project Evaluation Review Technique. Today I thought I'd add a couple of tips to this. So we're going to talk about absolute error, accuracy, the impact of seasonality, and then we'll review Pert once again. Okay? So let's get started. The first portion we're going to look at is absolute error. Absolute error is very simple to understand. Absolute error is simply the difference between your forecasted and your actual sales. Okay, so it's the difference between forecasted versus actual sales. Okay, so in our example, let's say you have a salesperson, he forecasts 150 units sold, and he actually goes out and only sells 130. Well, your absolute error in this case is 20 units. Okay, difference between forecasted and actual sales. Very simple. Okay. Second thing you want to look at, number 2, is the accuracy of this particular forecast. Okay, in this case, it involves taking the 130 units sold, dividing it by the 150 units that were forecasted, you get 87%. All right, very straightforward. First 2 steps, very easy. Okay, where you're going to be kind of a little bit more busy in terms of your analysis is this third portion. Okay, this is seasonality, and let's call it seasonality and business cycles. Okay? Now, these 2 things are extremely important in terms of understanding the ups and downs and the cyclical nature of your business. Okay? So even in a market where you have what would be considered linear demand, constant demand, day to day, week to week, month to month, quarter to quarter, you are still going to have those periods where you are going to have basically ups and downs. Gradually, over time, you may have this linear model that continues to increase in terms of demand, and quarter to quarter you may see constant increase in sales, but you're still going to have this gradual basic or this intermittent demand fluctuation. Okay, so even in a linear demand market, you're going to have some up and downs. Okay, the other market that you may operate in is basically a cyclical market, and you may actually have, let me make sure that this is in blue, it is. You may have ups and downs that relate to quarter. Okay? So you're going to have busier times of the year and slower times of the year. What you want to do is you want to basically understand what these seasonality patterns are between these quarters. Okay? What is happening between these quarters? Is it going up? Is it going down? Is it staying constant? Understand that, but also do it for your linear model. So if you're operating in a cyclical market, it's going to be easy to know, yeah, we're busier in the first quarter than we are in the third. But in a linear model where it's constant demand and you're constantly shipping product, it may require a little bit more work. So be cognizant of that. Okay. Now, the reason why you want to analyze your seasonality and business cycles is for the simple reason that you want to avoid the 2 main cost drivers of inventory. Okay. You don't want to have high holding costs, which means you're going to have product without sales. You're going to pay in financing. And you don't want to have lost sales cost of inventory where you don't have enough inventory to meet the demand in the market and you lose sales as a result. So the reason why you analyze your seasonality and business cycles is to make sure that you are doing everything you can to spot the fluctuations in month to month or quarter to quarter sales in either model, whether it's linear or cyclical. Okay? So you want to understand that because that's going to help you basically plan out your forecast and your inventory in addition to that. Okay? Now, the final thing we're going to cover, number 4, is Pert. Pert is very easy to understand. It's called Project Evaluation and Review Technique. What we want your salespeople to do with Pert is to ask themselves 3 basic questions. We want them to basically understand what's the most I can sell, what's the best outcome, what am I most likely going to sell, what's the most likely outcome, and what is the minimum amount that I'm going to sell, or what's the worst outcome. Okay? So let's say, let's do it this way. A equals best outcome. Okay? B equals most likely outcome. And C equals worst case. Okay. Now when you think about when a salesperson does a forecast, they always ask themselves, what am I most likely going to sell? What would I really love to sell, and what is the minimum I'm probably going to sell, okay? And what you're going to do is your salesperson is going to basically apply a dollar value, or not a dollar value, but a unit value to this, and he's going to basically say, let's continue our example. He says, I'm going to do 150 units is my best outcome, okay? My most likely outcome is I'm probably going to settle on 100 units, and the worst case scenario is I'm probably going to settle on 50 units, okay? So you've got best outcome 150, most likely outcome 100, and worst case scenario is 50. Now here's the calculation for PERT, and it's very simple, okay? What PERT says is I'm going to take 1 multiplied by A plus 4 multiplied by B. Okay, sorry, let me just erase that for a second. Plus 1 multiplied by C, and then I'm going to divide all of this by 6. Okay, so in this case, if we plug in these numbers, this is 1 times 150, 4 times 100, and 1 times 50. And what you've got inside the calculation is, this is going to be 150 plus 400, which is 550, plus 50 is 600, so it's 600 divided by 6 gives you a potential number of sales or unit sales in terms of your forecast of 100. Okay? Now, again, you may still have this variation up here between forecasted and actual. What you want to do is, number one, determine your absolute error. Okay? Difference between forecasted and actual sales. Determine the accuracy of this particular forecast. It may be by customer, it may be by territory, but let's just take the example of this one, which is by customer. The forecast accuracy is the actual sales divided by the forecasted sales. It gives you 87%. Pay attention to seasonality in business cycles. Whether it's a linear market or a cyclical market, it doesn't matter. You're going to have minor ups and downs in linear markets. You're going to have maybe more drastic ups and downs in cyclical markets. Finally, use something as simple as PERT, okay? Have your salespeople ask these 3 questions of themselves, use this simple calculation, and by doing so, it should give you a little bit better numbers down here. PERT is the basis of Gantt charts. PERT is used by project managers, and it's used in order to eliminate, it's basically used to identify the best possible outcome and to eliminate, non-essential tasks. And to narrow down, like I said, the most likely outcome. So that's pretty much it, guys. This is not going to do everything that you need. It's not going to make sure that you get 100% on your forecast, because that's simply not possible. But if you take the time to deliver the absolute error, determine the absolute error, determine the accuracy, determine your seasonality and impact of business cycles, and use a simple tool like PERT, it will help you get a more accurate forecast. So that's it. Absolute error, accuracy, seasonality, business cycles, and PERT. Hope that helps with your forecasting. Take care. Ian Johnson, drivesuccess.com. Bye-bye.